Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson, World Alternative Media here, and of course we're joined by author and economic analyst here at WAM, John Sneisen. Now, a bail-in may just be imminent in legislation in Denmark, so John, can you go into what on earth is happening here?
Well, Denmark has struggled for a long time with their banks. Of course, the worst bank, the Danske Bank, which is actually has a lot of offices in Norway as well. It's one of the bigger banks in Scandinavia, is really struggling. And they're looking at bailing because they say the Paschi approach, which ended up being a bailout, they just can't afford it. So what they plan to do is bail in, and they want to say that they want to bail in before a major bail-in will happen. Like they say, they want to try to protect the deposit holders in Danske Bank. The problem with that is any bail-in that will happen, and we've seen this over and over again. It's not just the senior bondholders that hold shares in the bank that's going to get hurt. It's also the depositors. They're going to recapitalize, as they call recapitalize the bank. It's basically the bail-in.
Well, let's just quickly go over this for those that don't know. Now, we've talked before about bail-ins in the legislation in the Canadian budget. We've talked about it in Cyprus, in Greece. And this is basically a way for banks to take all the money out of your account. So, say instead of a bailout, which is also not good, they can go into your bank account and just take all your money out. It's, we need to pay off this debt, so we'll just take all your money. And when it's written into legislation, that's pretty terrifying for a lot of people because, of course, once you put your money in a bank, it's no longer yours. It's the bank's. So with that said, let's continue just so I wanted to make sure that people knew exactly what we were talking about.
And also, they need to understand that their local deposit insurance corporation that they have that's supposed to insure everything under 100,000. I'm putting out a book soon, which is going to be very interesting about Canada. But there I actually exposed the real value of the fund that's supposed to protect those deposits. Here in Canada, it's 0.39%. Wow. Of the total deposits that are actually insured if something happens. So that should just tell you a lot about the huge risk. And I'm pretty certain that in Denmark it's not too far-fetched from that number as well. So when a major bank, goes bad, and it's just going to make a huge mess. They're going to, what's called recapitalize, basically steal your money that you put into the bank that you thought was safe there. And then they're going to use that to save the bank for now, because people like to say that, we saved the bank, there's no worries anymore.
You don't save the people by doing that, though. That's for sure. You save the bank, but then the people who have money in that bank.
Well, you always got to save the systemically important bank. That's what they're saying, right? The systemically important bank, and that's of course in Denmark. Danske Bank is a definite systemic important bank. It's a very, very important bank, and I think, like with Denmark, and you got to remember, Denmark also has negative interest rates. They were one of the first ones.
I think we talked about that a while back ago.
That put themselves to a negative interest rate, and Denmark's economy is really struggling. They're having a lot of issues in Denmark with a gigantic government on top of everything.
Of course.
And of course, Denmark is at the highest brackets of who are most indebted, together with all the other socialist countries in Scandinavia. I think their socialist way of life with big government might be ending.
Well, it might be coming to an end, as they always do, because of it's just it's wholly inefficient, it's coercive, it's forceful, it hurts the populace the most, while the leaders are living in palaces. The people actually working hard are, the exact opposite.
I think what we're going to see is more move towards where people are going to take back their governments, which is supposedly happening in the United States. We'll see where it's going to take us.
We'll see.
It was in the speech, but we'll see if people will actually. And I think so. It's gonna be a big move towards this type of system where you're gonna have the move from gigantic government, or you're gonna have the totalitarian government.
Of course, because
right?
as you've mentioned before, socialism only leads to communism,
Yeah.
and that's the whole goal in the long run for most socialists.
Well,
anyways.
actually, Denmark is one of the biggest countries in the world with all these communes. They have a ton of communist communes,
which is all fine at a voluntary level,
Yeah.
but it's the people of Denmark. I've met many people from Denmark. They're very good people. And it's unfortunate that so much of the populace is bought into this big government ideology, which really creates that problem, reaction, solution, repeat scenario that I talk about again and again, that Hegelian dialectic.
Yeah.
And I really, really hope that the people of Denmark see what is happening, see how the banks rule most in a socialist society alongside the state, and that it's time to free yourselves from this system, to embrace true freedom and voluntary interactions between free individuals, and pull away from this debt enslavement, pull away from this bank enslavement, because it is the end goal of all these bankers and these over-the-top statists to have a complete control complex, so no one is truly free. They're just entities or pawns in a big collective bunch. And it's about time that people free themselves from this system, and they will see and reap the benefits of being free and free markets, free monetary system, and pull away from these banks that are just reeling them in. And they're like, look, we're doing good things. Actually, we're just totally enslaving you.
Let me just end with this. What a bail-in or a bailout is, it's basically a bankrupt institution that needs to get saved. That's all that it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in a free market, bankrupt institutions would fail and you would lose all your money. And that's what it should be. That would teach people a lesson, because now we're just bailing them out with more and more money. We're shoving more and more money towards these banks, and we're just going to end up with hyperinflation and then, of course, total destruction of the whole monetary system.
And absolute poverty, and it's a terrible thing. So thank you very much for bringing this to us, John. We'll be back at you with much more. Check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon. We can't do it without you. Any donation is very much appreciated. And, of course, check our reference link in the description and the comments as well for Anarchapulco, where you can save 10% on your tickets to Anarchapulco in Acapulco, Mexico by typing in promo code WHAM. That's WAM. And I will be seeing you there. So stay tuned for much more. We got lots more coming your way at World Alternative Media. As always, there's always lots of stuff going on in the news. And we'll see you soon. This is Josh Sigurdson and John Sneisen signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.